we do acknowledge, of course, the massive challenges of having done online classes since October 5. But certainly holding face-to-face.
Distance learning.
Yes, sir.
Not all are online.
Yes, sabagay po. But certainly holding face-to-face classes is going to be a pretty big gamble. And of course, DepEd, in considering doing it, is, I suppose, thinking that it's a risk that may be worth taking. Can you run us through how DepEd is planning to execute this, itong pilot po?
Well, first is why are we doing this? Is because it is very clear that originally talagang ang blended learning should still have some form of face-to-face interaction between the teacher and the learner, and it will really serve a lot of purpose and really complement the learning process if we combine distance learning modalities with some form of face-to-face learning. We have also seen that there have been certain changes. Some areas of the economy are opening up. More areas are placed under MGCQ already, and there have been actually a lot of uh, requests and even appeals that we have been receiving from the field, both from DepEd units and even from local government units, to allow a certain level of face-to-face classes in their areas, particularly the remote areas, which really look like already, or you may consider to be some form of a bubble. So it is for that reason that the Secretary said, and this is an ongoing discussion also for continuous update to the President, the what was requested was to allow us to do pilot study or pilot implementation before a final recommendation to the President will be made for this month of January.
Usec, I want to go deeper into the reasons for planning to shift to face-to-face classes again. Kasi previously there were some reports that DepEd said hindi yata natututo ng maayos ng mga estudyante with blended learning. Tama po ba to? Is that the feedback you are getting from the field?
Well, hindi naman totally, but ideally talaga, even blended learning, we went into pure distance learning, but it is considered all over the world by education systems around the world that you cannot totally replace some face-to-face interaction between the learners and the students and among the students themselves for an effective learning process. So it's mainly to recover that, and it's not really shifting back to face-to-face, but rather just to provide some face-to-face opportunities. So it will still be a combination of distance learning and face-to-face learning. But you're correct that the intent is really to mitigate what areas where there are learning loss based on the differential capacities of both learners and households in this process.
Usec, I want to picture the pilot classroom. Are you going to use dividers, plexiglass or plastic or whatever? And the teacher, will she be wearing PPE, for example?
Not necessarily. What is important is the social distancing and the ventilation and the wearing of the face mask, as well as the frequent hand washing and the symptom-based screening. Unfortunately, with symptom-based screening, and that's where you check the temperature and so on. There's been a recent finding that some of the children, there's a greater incidence among the younger age group for asymptomatic positives that can carry still high viral loads, which makes very, very important the other health standards, a very stringent observation of the health standards. Plus, we are emphasizing the shared responsibility because, as we mentioned, many of the transmission can happen at the home, and so there needs to be a commitment by the households, including a reporting mechanism whereby kalimbawa kung may alam nila na may na-expose o may symptoms sa household, hindi na papapasukin yung mga bata and will disclose that fact to the school. So there's not going to be a dividers, but there will be a reduced class size, a proper distancing of the seats. They will be wearing their face mask, and there will be screening for symptoms, and in eating places there will be no activities where they uh, I mean uh, reducing contact while doing the class activities will be the protocols that will be included. But this is also why the risk classification of an area is important. In other words, there are really the ones that we are receiving appeals from local government units are the ones that have had zero COVID for quite a long period of time, and they have monitored, for example, entrance and exit from the community. So, as I mentioned, areas that are really working like a bubble, and in more instances, these students sometimes are getting out of their house also within this community. So it is in these areas that this will be done.